Hey, you ever wonder what happens with an actor if they played a character for so long and the show ends? What's next? Well, my next guest has the answer to that and a whole lot more as we go beyond the take. What is up, everyone? It is me, Mark Schwann, host of the show Beyond the Take podcast. It's been a bit, but we are back, and this is a very special episode because I don't have just one person back here on the show. I have two returning guests here. Let me give it up for the first one. Ladies and gentlemen, you may know him. He asked some stellar questions about the industry. Give it up for Michael J. Putty. What's up, man?
Thanks for having me back, buddy. You fired me, and now you keep having me back. It's amazing. Thank you.
Hey, you keep saying yes, so that's great. Obviously,
You got
you don't hold a grudge. We love that here. Yeah, that goes well in your scorecard as far as like your eligibility to come back. Um, I'm proud of you, man. I'm proud of you. It's a big step.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Anything for you, Marcus.
I do want, the cup back that I gave as a gift. Um, I do want that back though.
Well, it's on eBay right now if you want to check my listings.
Yeah,
Figure get
that's
some
what
money out of that.
that's
April.
what I thought. That's what I thought. Yeah, you know. Oh, anywho. Well, welcome back to the podcast. Honestly, I'm gonna be very frank here. You're requested to come back here by the guest that is returning. He's the first returning guest. He was also the first guest of the podcast. You may know him from Mayor of Kingstown. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for my man, B. Todd Johnson.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Was that what the kids do now?
Yeah.
Is that still a thing? I don't know.
No.
No, but I mean, we're 40. Who cares? We're tone deaf and
But
we're old.
I could still play 30 to 40 for any
Right.
casting directors that are
Correct.
That are blind? Yeah.
they're
Yeah.
blind. Wow, that's inappropriate. See this
You can
guy?
they can see with their heart, Putty. Casting isn't just about what you look like on a screen. It's about what you look like in their hearts.
Well,
That's
B-Todd, what's different right now about Putty is the fact that like now he just got into acting himself. He does voiceover, so he doesn't have to worry about what casting directors will
Oh,
see.
that is a great fit for you, man.
Thank
You
you.
have a golden voice.
In the infancies, haven't really done anything much of it yet, but we're still baby steps, still in the process, learning
Hey,
process.
welcome. Welcome to the fold.
Thank you.
Yeah, welcome
Yeah.
to the brethren, man. You're in good hands. You're in good hands.
B Todd, yes, because if it wasn't for him, I wouldn't be here. You would never have me on
That's
the show.
that's true.
He's giving me, filling me the time. Thank you, B Todd.
I said, look, I was the first guest on. We gotta get the gang back together, man. It was such a good episode. So
It
let's
was
run it
fun.
back.
It was fun. And this time we're going to do you right. I feel like the first time around we were asking a lot of different questions about wrestling and acting, but like, this time around I really want to focus more on you. And also, I'm going to be a gentleman this time around. I'm going to have Putty deliver the first question.
Wow.
What have you been up to? It's been months since we
Oh
spoke to
my
you.
God,
Bill.
really? Is that fucking it? That's the
I
first
thought
question?
I came in here thinking I was going to do the same thing like last time and just follow your lead. I didn't have a opening line prepared.
My
So and
God.
a while,
It's just a
and I'm
warm
happy.
up. It's the toss up.
Oh my
Yeah, it's a warm
God.
up. I'm actually fine to answer this question if I may proceed.
No, yeah, no, go
Please,
for it.
floor's yours.
Uh, I've been up to a lot since I've last seen you guys. I have really kicked my own behind and just started getting more into the creation side of things.
Love it.
Because I always say like my acting career kicked off when I like started writing and producing my own shorts and stuff like that. And so now I wrote a series and I actually started writing a feature now that I'm really excited about. Also, I've been getting back in that gym, man, and like I've been locked in. I got a trainer. Shout out Mike Cherry.
I've
I've
seen
been
those Instagram
locked in on
pics,
my
man.
calories.
I've seen those
Yeah,
Instagram pics. You're looking
I'm
good,
down 20
man.
pounds, man, and I'm trying to lose 20 more. We're trying to get down to that 230. That's gonna be a sweet spot for me.
Wow. So what are you
Um,
doing? A lot of weight lift, cardio, change up your diet? Like
yeah.
what's going on? What are you doing?
So I'm weightlifting always. That's Monday through Friday,
Heavy
pretty
or
much.
lighter?
I would say it's still heavy. Like I just benched 350 yesterday for three, but I had the slingshot. I don't know if you guys are familiar, but
350,
350.
350.
Yeah,
Wow.
350.
Look at you.
So slingshot is like this thing that goes over your arms and over your chest, and it very much is like a slingshot because it just keeps your arms together. It's elastic and then it helps you get that lift off. But it's also good for getting over plateaus and stuff like that. So I am lifting heavy, but I would say more than anything, it's just a lot of super reps. Like do 100 of these, doing like 100 push-ups every day and like uh did calisthenics on Monday. So it's just a whole barrage of different exercises, cardio always. And then the diet is the most important thing, especially for us that are up there in our age a little bit more. So all I'm doing is no plan other than eat your protein goals, you know what I mean? And then
Protein.
stay
What?
in a
Oh
deficit.
God,
Yeah,
it's so hard to get to, right? You
it
never
is.
really
I
think
have
about it until you
230
start
grams a
tracking
day.
it. Well, so
Yeah.
how are you getting that in? Are you doing like? Because I feel like they're
Uh,
making protein chips. They're making protein and everything right now.
I don't mess with any of that. I mean, I
Yeah,
swear to
no,
God, I
same.
don't, because it's scary what they're putting like protein
Thank you.
Doritos.
Yeah,
Like, get out of here, man.
yeah. No, it's so stupid.
Yeah.
Put
So
put
the
them away,
key for me
buddy.
is
Put them
just,
away. It's not real.
yeah, just eat
Right.
real Doritos, man. Like, um, I have the same thing every day, and it sounds so boring, but it's so true. But like, I leave the gym at around 7:30, and I have my protein shake then, and like these little like Belvita biscuits or whatever. 2 hours later, I have eggs and a half pound turkey patty, ground turkey patty. Lunch or before that, I have like a can of tuna around 11. It's just gonna be like chicken and rice for lunch, and then fish and vegetables for dinner, and like
So
that's it.
you're doing like simple carbs. So you eliminate carbs, or you're just doing like
Rice and sweet potatoes are the only carbs I have, and then
yeah,
that
the simple
Belvita
ones.
biscuit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like,
So,
I'm not cutting carbs. It's just I'm trying to stay in a deficit, and so I mean, when you're eating that much protein, you just don't eat anything else. You're just not hungry for anything else. Like you're just constantly eating fish and meat and eggs or whatever. And
I miss
so
being in
yeah,
that grind, man. I miss being in that grind. Having a kid, it's like I feel like it's so tough for me to go back on that. I was on a good keto diet for like 2 years,
keto's
and
great.
I felt great, felt phenomenal. Then having a kid
Yeah.
in your life, it just disrupts the system. Apparently, it's cruelty to put a kid in keto diet.
Yeah.
So
I mean, yeah, it's the reason why like nurses say, "Oh, well, he's in ketosis." Like it's not a good thing, but when your
right.
body is just burning off of fat, it's great, but if it's the only thing that it's doing, that's why you have to hop out of it is to like allow your body to adjust to normal living again. But yeah, then you just kind of balloon back out if you don't like phase out of
Dude,
keto appropriately,
I
yeah,
ballooned
you just
up,
put it
man.
all right back up.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh my God. It sucks because I joke around with my wife. I said like, I got into the best shape of my life during the pandemic, but then my daughter was born like afterwards, so I ballooned up. It's like it never happened. It's like I got the best shape to the point where no one can see though. No, I can't
Yeah.
enjoy it. I can't do anything about it. But well, here we are.
You can get back there, man. You can get back there.
I'll do it. I'll do it. I'm going to work on that right now. Rehabbing my shoulder, so I'll get
Yeah.
back into it.
Why did you see it? How convenient.
Yeah, right. I did post a picture of it in my story, and my wife called me out. It's like, is that because no one saw it? I'm like, yeah, damn right it is.
Right. Right.
I do have a question for you, B. Todd, because we're not a fitness podcast. I could
Right.
touch on that all day. You were talking about, you're working on a series and you're working on a feature film. I'm starting to get back into the writing game myself, and I think it's fascinating. Because back in the day when I started writing, writing movies was what it was about. Like writing a TV show that seems so foreign.
Yeah.
But now I feel like a lot of people are doing that as well. How do you distinct an idea between the two? Between like, oh, I think this is a good series, or oh, I think this could be a good feature, or even a good short. Like, how do you
Yeah.
distinct?
That's a great question, and I don't have a solid answer for that. I think you just kind of feel what's there. I think everything starts with a short, and then you're like, okay, I can see more of this, but can I see this as just one big narrative? Then it's a feature. But if it's like, there's a lot of moving parts in this and a lot of characters I want to get involved, and I can tell them in succinct, chunks, then I think it's a series. And like, I decided to go away from the old model of just write a pilot and then, try and make the pilot or the sizzle reel or whatever and get it picked up.
Yeah.
I wanted to do this all the way beginning to end. So I wrote all like it's 7 episodes, which is a weird number, or used to be a weird number for a
Not
season, right?
not so weird
Not
anymore.
anymore.
Is it a
Not
limited
anymore.
series or is it a
No,
show
this is
show?
season one. We're going into this with this is season one. If it I think it lands in a clean enough place where if it was a mini series and just a one and done, beautiful. You know what I mean? But I already have plans for seasons two and beyond. And yeah, I just knew when I was writing, I was like, there's this just has so much legs to it, and you could keep going on. So a series made sense. And I just feel like even though we're on the tail end of the golden era of TV, because streaming has muddied the waters, streaming, I think, does really well with episodic more so than films because, like, I don't know, man, Netflix films are different, and then they're still trying to figure out who's going to be a box office release, who's going to be just streaming. Netflix is now like, we want nothing to do with theatrical release. We just want to be the best streaming library that there is.
They don't even really want anything American at this point. You know, they're looking at foreign stuff to just
Yeah,
cut back in costs.
yeah. And I mean, like, none of that even says anything about YouTube, which is the most streamed platform. But
Mm.
that's serial content, right? Like that is people putting out episodes or whatever you want to call it, YouTube episodes every week, every 2 weeks, every day if it's shorts and stuff like that. And now people are building up their audiences even bigger than before, starting on YouTube. And the game has changed, man.
The
It's
game has
just
totally changed. I mean, like just look right now with like Curry Barker and
yeah,
with Obsessions and
obsession, backrooms.
Backrooms. I mean, these are
Yeah,
YouTube and TikToks and sensations right here, and they
yep,
completely blew up. I mean,
yep.
you seeing that, does that inspire you at all, or does it get you a little worried about the future of the industry? What does that do for you?
No, I don't. It doesn't worry me. It doesn't worry me. I think it's cool because like these guys with Obsession and Backrooms, and I forget the other one that like Iron Lung or something like that.
Yes, there's another one. Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Um, they are back to like what made the theater so great of like those super, super low budget films that everybody went to the theater to go see. You know what I mean? So like I'm sure Tom Cruise is thanking them silently because they, in their own way, have saved the theater. You know what I mean?
They
And now
totally
it's
did.
enough to make Netflix say, we don't want to be in theater. But you have studios like A24 and Neon who are like, no, we want theatrical release. And like,
They Curry
yeah,
Barker turned down the A24, came up with Neon because it was global. Like
I love it.
those two companies are killing it right now. I think
Yeah,
they're saving the industry in their own way.
yeah. And I mean, like horror is such a golden genre, right? Because horror and I'll say pro wrestling have the most dedicated fan bases on the face of the earth. Like
Yeah, no, it's true.
they will spend money. It does not matter how good or how bad it is. It does not matter where it's being shown, the venue, the quality, none of that. People will spend dollars to go see and support it. And so that's great because now we're like getting out of the franchise bind that we've been in forever, right? And like we're starting to take risks on films again and starting to get
No, they
original
are.
IP. They
They
are.
are. They
Sure.
are. I
Sure.
if, and I do hope because we've seen it before with like Sinners and like even Poor Things too. Like that
Yeah.
had a big box office and it wasn't supposed to succeed the way it did,
Right.
right? And it wasn't that much money to make. And you would think like after you've seen movies like that break out, like, you would think the studios and streamers would be like, oh, well, great. You know, we don't have to put all this money into like one project. We
Right.
could do multiple ones, and they still haven't learned a lesson.
Well, yeah, and the other thing is like they're not like now all of a sudden IP is not the golden child it once was, right? Like look at He-Man. Like there are select people who are going to support it and say it's great. People who are more casual, who haven't really seen anything, don't like it. You know what I mean? So it's very much on the fence, but it's not making money. But here's He-Man
Well,
that
because
was
it
tremendous IP, but it's not.
it
It didn't do it.
but if you remember correctly, I mean, the He-Man when it first came out didn't necessarily was a big box office draw either.
The
Um,
Dolph Lundgren movie, or are you talking about the cartoon?
the Dolph Lundgren.
Yeah, yeah. No,
It
that movie
wasn't
was
necessarily, yeah.
yeah.
So I don't necessarily know why they decided to go back to that, unless they thought maybe they could do a Fantastic Four type of thing and revive it after 5 times. I don't know, but um, yeah, I don't. It's interesting. I also feel like they kind of missed the ball there with that because I think they were trying to think, oh well, Barbie did well,
Yeah.
right? We
Well,
could do this,
Barbie
but
was just its own sensation, man. I mean,
exactly, exactly.
that was lightning in a bottle. And I don't know if Barbie would or would not have done as well without the Oppenheimer, like the Barbenheimer, thing. Like that was such
Ooh,
a cool cultural moment to
it
have
was.
those two movies. Now, and I don't even know if Oppenheimer would have done as well if it didn't have Barbie playing alongside it, and that was part of the big push. They're both phenomenal movies, man. Like Barbie was really, really fun. Oppenheimer was a a sleepy draw, but I mean it was well acted. It's a Nolan film, it's great. But we're still seeing big directors do their thing. Like I'm excited to go see Disclosure Day from Spielberg this weekend,
Same,
but I'm
same.
also excited to go see The Furious, and like it's awesome to go back to a theater to see a martial arts film. And like this reminds me of like Ong Bak and The Raid, and I just feel like I've made it my mission. I'm gonna go to the theater as much as I can this summer. Like I very much
Lots of
want
great
to.
movies coming out. Hell, I'm
Yeah.
taking my daughter to her first movie, see Toy Story 5, amped about it. Then we got Moana coming out, another Paw Patrol movie coming out. Yeah, I know we got different movies we're seeing, but
Right.
I do want to make it see the Odyssey. I do want to see Disclosure Day.
Odyssey is gonna be
Like
great, man.
I feel like it feels like the blockbuster summer is back. Not to say it necessarily went away, but it didn't feel the same as it used to be like the 90s. This feels like a true blockbuster summer.
Yeah. I don't think it's ever quite recovered after COVID,
No.
because like we had like Infinity Wars and Endgame, and then we went to COVID, and then it was just like,
Spider-Man even. You could even mention
yeah.
Spider-Man. Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I love Spider-Man, and that was one of the cool, like I remember sitting in the theater in a mask in New York with just like terrified to be out in public, but having that collective experience when we see all three Spider-Men come on the screen again, you know what I mean? And like just to be able to witness that with strangers again. And there are things I love about the collective experience sitting in a theater with a bunch of strangers and going through like seeing weapons in the theater and just when it pivots at the very end, those last 10 minutes, when it pivots from horror to just straight comedy. You know what I mean? Everybody's losing their minds like, what am I watching right now? This is hilarious, but why am I laughing so hard in a horror movie? You know what I mean? And like that's just something you can't take away. Like I don't want to necessarily always just watch a movie in the comfort of my house on my couch. You know what I mean? Like one or two people. Like I love a theater full of people where when Captain America picks up that hammer, we all just
Mm,
lose our minds, that collective
right.
gasp. It's
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 magical.
essential.
It
Yeah.
really is magical. And now look, I mean, we spent quite a bit talking about movies. I don't know about Atlanta where you are, but here in New York, New Jersey, I'm seeing a lot of films being filmed right now, a lot of feature
Hmm.
films.
Yeah.
Not as much of TV as it used to be. Now, I
Yeah.
find it interesting picking up what you were saying beforehand about, you writing a TV series. I feel like you're zagging instead of zigging pretty much.
Yeah.
And that's smart. Is that strategic, or was this just something like I can't put this in a feature film? I got to make this a TV series. Was it more like
Yeah.
along the lines of that?
Uh my whole career has been zigging when I should have zagged or vice versa. Like, is it strategic? Yeah, maybe. Is it stupidity? Maybe. Like, like I moved to New York when my hometown was going through the Hollywood South. Like it was never busier anywhere than it was in Georgia, and I decided to move up to New York. And I moved back to Atlanta after the industry has kind of left Georgia for what it's worth. But we're seeing that all over, right? Like Georgia has lost our
So
main
much.
industry to Europe.
Yeah.
New York has lost it to New Jersey. LA has lost it to everywhere, and they're trying to get it back. We're all trying to get it back. You know what I mean? And I think there should be some kind of federal incentive to help lure back productions to the states in
Yes.
general.
Sing it to the heavens, my man.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
agreed, agreed. Um, do you think that we're going to see that at any point? Like,
Not in this administration.
not in this administration, right?
I
It's
mean, I know
weird.
he appointed the czars of Hollywood, which was like
Yeah,
John Voight and Sylvester Stallone, and was it Mel Gibson or like James
Mel Gibson,
Woods or something?
yeah.
Just like,
Uh, and it's
but those,
crazy. Like, John Voight, right? And we could disagree with his politics all day, but like the one thing
sure,
I really agreed on is he's the one that was really spearheading about the whole thing about on the federal level,
yeah,
right? To get that tax incentive. How
yeah.
is he the film czar or whatever the hell you want to call him, and you're not going to
It's
listen to him?
it was publicity, man, and it was like they set it up to make it sound good, and it was something to campaign off of, but now we're not seeing it. You know what I mean? And like it sucks because we Hollywood used to mean something,
Yeah.
regardless of if it was filmed in LA in true Hollywood fashion or if it was just the American film industry. And we lost that sense of identity. And it's like, I hate seeing what happened in LA, looking at it like what happened in Detroit when the auto industry left, or
Do you?
like
I
in
was about to
Pittsburgh when the
say.
steel industry left. And like, it's an industry driven town. And
Do you feel like that's the same effect that we're seeing right now? Do you think LA could eventually be Detroit?
so, from what I hear about my friends in LA, LA also makes it really impossible to film something.
They're pulling stuff back. They are pulling
Yeah,
stuff
they're
back.
making it easier for lower budget people to film and stuff like that. But the permitting situation is still crazy, and like the licenses and all that stuff. Like, we gotta lighten up on that stuff because now they're converting all these sound stages and warehouses to pre-lit conditions and spaces for like YouTubers to come in and create and stuff like
Yeah.
that. And again, I don't have a problem with that. You know what I mean? Like, I think I had a bigger worry about influencers taking over acting jobs, but we've played with it long enough to show that influencers' audiences don't translate to box office sales. They don't translate to views for that platform. They only
I don't,
translate to views for the Instagram or YouTube or whatever it may be.
but,
Mr. Beast has lost half of his viewership since he started doing these Netflix deals and everything like that.
but these movies of Obsession and Backrooms, I mean, that's
But
kind of
that's
proving it
not
wrong.
that's not influencer to me. That is art. That is creating art. Like Backrooms has the entire lore library on YouTube. They were creating something for an audience, right? Like that is not the same as somebody who's like, "Hey guys, it's me. I'm out here. I'm getting
I
ready to
see
go
what you're saying.
shopping in the
I see what
plaza."
you're
You know
saying.
what I mean? Like
Yeah.
influencing is very self-involved, but creating the art and like I'm not trying to bash influencers out here, so I'm not going to Timothy
Yeah,
Chalamet
no, no,
myself.
it's
You
okay.
know what I mean? But like
But I think more people will
you know
praise you in this case.
Yeah, what I'm saying is like those people, Obsessions and Backrooms created something, they created an audience, and then it was always to kind of go to a theater. And if the theaters rejected them, cool. They would have had all their views on YouTube and it would have been great. But like it was always creating something for an audience and not creating something for views, I guess if that makes sense.
No, it totally does. It totally does. Putty, what's your thoughts on this? Oh my God, who's on his
I was,
phone?
oh, right, my notes down there, yes. I was just wondering. Also, I noticed the films used to come out in theaters, and they would
Yeah.
stay for a while. You get the office results. This movie's number one for 3 weeks, made this much money. But I noticed now there's a rush to get movies out of the theater and onto streaming platforms. Why do you think that is?
That's just the deals that they have now. You know what I mean? Like when Warner Brothers is HBO, and then it's like, well, cool, yeah, we love the box office, but it's like a serpent eating its own tail where they're like, people aren't going to the box office, so we're just not going to leave it out there for them to go see. So then they take it away before people can get there. But like I think like Project Hail Mary was this year the first success this year where everybody was going to see Project Hail Mary and it was in the theaters for like 8 to 10 weeks. It was in there forever. And then it went away and they actually brought it back and stuff like that.
Michael has been out there for a while too, actually, right now.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. That one's doing well. I mean, that one had a
Yeah.
huge audience ready to go. Um, I think they're playing around with it a little bit more, but like, you know, what started this whole thing was when Netflix won Best Picture for Coda, right? And the Oscars threw a fit, or everybody, the Academy, I guess, threw a fit, or the industry threw a fit because they're like, how can this be a Best Motion Picture when it never even went to the theater? So then it became this, okay, well, now the new rule is you have to have a movie in the theaters for 2 weeks for it to be considered, Oscar worthy or award worthy. So Amazon is MGM, right? Amazon's not going to lose a lot of money by keeping it in a theater when they can make more money on subscribers on Amazon. So they're going to pull it and put it on Amazon Prime. Plus, Amazon does it differently where they can, you can rent or buy the movie on their platform and watch it directly anyways and have box office at home. Then you have Warner Brothers with HBO. And so it's like all of the studios, like Paramount included, all have their own streamers.
That's
And
all the
so
same
this,
thing. It's all Paramount now.
yeah, yeah, that's true. It is all Paramount now.
You're being
But
redundant.
I I think that is going to change. I think maybe we're gonna see a splinter, like, and I think you're gonna see some movies that are just meant for streaming, like, maybe some more of like rom-coms or something like that, like some more niche looking films. And then I think some art house films are still always gonna go to the box office. Your blockbusters and your big franchises, like, your Marvels and your DCs are always gonna go to the theater, always. And then you'll see which ones like end up on Netflix. Like, I don't know if y'all saw the War Machine that was Netflix's big like action movie
They're doing a second one.
sci-fi. They're doing a
Yeah.
second one, and it's just going to be on Netflix, and that's that's cool. But like, I kind of would like to see that movie on the big screen because like those are some major special effects, and I would love to be enveloped in Dolby Digital, rocking my brain.
But it's also interesting what they did before too, with like the season or series finale of Stranger Things.
Yeah,
They they
which they
they
weren't going to grant. They weren't going to let him go to theater.
they did
And
it in
then
theaters.
they caved.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the
Yeah.
theaters got him a huge bang for it.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
it was smart because something like
Yeah.
that. I mean, you do want to see the big screen. I had the luxury of seeing one of the season finales. I think it was season three for Stranger Things. I went to one of the
Yeah.
SAG-AFTRA Foundation screenings for it and saw it on the big screen. And I was blown away. Like, oh my
Yeah.
God, this deserves to be on here.
Yeah.
Like it's an experience on itself. So I mean, Netflix puts on some bangers, man. That they could definitely benefit from putting it in a big screen. I actually at one point thought because I remember people were always wondering about what's going to happen with the movie theaters like after the
Yeah.
pandemic. Like I really thought we are going to get to a point where the streaming services were going to buy out these theaters and kind of make its own little land, pretty
Yeah.
much. Like
Yeah.
especially like something like say for example Apple. Right, they buy a few theaters, but they make it like a whole experience. They can
Yeah.
have some concerts there, have a
Yeah.
whole like to do. People are now getting dressed up like they would for Broadway type of deal because the
Um,
tickets will be experience. I have a feeling like it wasn't after the pandemic, but I don't think it's so far-fetched that we see this down the road.
well, I'm okay with that. I'm okay if you want to modify the theater so that instead of having 100 seats, we whittle it down to 50, but they're all the recliner seats. You know what I mean? Or they're
Yeah,
all like the interactive with I don't mind the waiters and the food service in the middle of theaters. You know what I mean? Like I love being able to order chicken fingers and cauliflower buffalo wings or whatever in the second act. You know what I mean? Like after I gone through my first, and then just keep it coming, man. Just feed
right.
me. But like, they have that theater in New York, right? Where now it's like a
Alamo
bunch of
Drafthouse.
small private, no, not Draft House. I forget. It's like Cinemark or something, but they're like 8 to 20 room theaters, right? And you rent them out. And so you pay, and there's like a prefix meal, but there's small private room movie theaters that you have just your friends and you rent them out and then you can do whatever you want. But it's not like a huge 50 or 100 or 200 person theater. It's very small, very niche. And then they have like just nonstop refreshments throughout the whole thing. You can get up and walk around and talk if you wanted to, or everyone can just stay in their seat. But it's smaller and more catered to making an experience for smaller groups instead of big ones. So I'm okay with us retooling and figuring things out, you know? Because for 250, if I could get eight of my friends together and we watch like, Doomsday, and we don't have to worry about people on their phones or yelling at their kids or something like that. Like I've curated who's coming into the
Like
theater
a
with
private
me.
watch party. That's pretty
Yeah.
cool. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, and the other thing that I hate, going back to this whole streamer thing on TV is like, if you remember one of the season finales of Game of Thrones, they made it so dark that people at home were complaining they couldn't see anything on their TV, right?
Right.
And
Right.
then
Yeah.
they came on and then went on Twitter and like, oh, well, you have to adjust the settings on your TV. Like, you have to turn off this and make sure you do this. I'm just like,
Who's
you
doing
guys are
that?
idiots. You
Right.
want millions of people to tinker with their TVs. Like it should be automatic for us. We shouldn't have to touch a thing. You know what I
Exactly.
mean? So like if that's what you want to do, then that's when it needs to go to a theater because then we're surrounded. The lights can be however you want them. The projector is how you want it to be, and it's tailored for one singular format. But you know how many different TVs there are and like different lightings and people got, light coming from the side. Like, don't do that to us. That's not our fault. That's not our responsibility. You want us to watch, make it as easy for us as possible.
You you're very insightful, right? I think you're one that keeps up with the trades. You know the industry very well. You have your fingers on the pulse. Recently, fairly recently, you were on Threads,
Yeah.
um, and you put up something incredibly insightful about,
Yeah.
you went to, I guess, some sort of casting seminar or something. Am I
Yeah,
wrong in
so
that?
I know exactly what you're talking about. So I went to SCAD TV Fest, which is put on by my alma mater, SCAD, and I went to a casting panel, and it was like six or seven casting directors, and it was moderated by a casting director. And the tweet that you were referencing was, I said, I believe it was,
You
hey,
had like
they
five
don't want
points,
us.
something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like 5 points, and the one that got the most blowback was, I said, hey guys. I've just talked to these seven casting directors, and they seem to all agree that they don't think we should be using readers on our laptop, whether it's like we audition or you're on Zoom with somebody or FaceTime or something like that, that they prefer you to have a physical body in the room with you because they can tell when there's somebody on a computer speaker and it sounds tinny or just you can
Robotic.
tell that somebody's not there or
Yeah.
whatever, and they just feel like it takes them out of it when they're watching their performance. So they would just prefer you have somebody in person. And at first I'm just like, well, that's just not convenient because like who am I gonna have come over to my house every time?
Right.
And when I got like, three or four in a week or something like that, my wife doesn't want to do it. Like she has, but I think
Right.
any of
Yeah.
us who have spouses, we know you just don't do it anymore for the sake of the
Especially a
marriage.
spouse with a kid, man. Like that's
Yeah,
the
right.
last thing she wants to
Right.
do.
Right.
Yeah.
And that thread just got ate up by people online and like people are like, how dare they and how dare you and
Well,
you're
yeah,
just
they were attacking
clicking
you,
this
which
for
was
rage
fucking
bait. Yeah.
nuts.
Yeah. Yeah. And I was just reporting back what I heard and people were right. I mean, and then some casting directors started chiming in. They're like, I don't agree with this asshole. And I was just like, wow. And like
It got crazy. It
it
got
got
crazy.
crazy, it got dirty, it got
And then
and
you
so I took it
took
down.
you
I
took
took it
it
down.
down. You
Yeah.
know what? I love you. I'm going to say this with all due respect. I was a little disappointed you took it down. I was, but I understood why. I asked you why, and yeah, please go on. Tell the audience why did you take it down?
To be super transparent, I didn't like the negative blowback from it. You know what I mean? Like the people who saying it was clickbait or whatever, or people saying I was just trying to get reactions and views or whatever. That was one part of it. Like, yes, I'm an actor. I have emotions that hurt my feelings. Okay. Cool. You can get over that though, right? The other thing is, as I was sitting there and just thinking about it over and over and over again, I was like, okay, it may be that these seven casting directors, who are all from a very specific region, you know what I mean, had their opinion. But then after seeing other casting directors who didn't have that opinion, I was like, you know what? Everybody in this profession has a different attitude or a different perception, and like, I don't want to I don't want to add to the chaos, right? And so I don't want to put misinformation out there. I don't want like other people were accusing me of scare tactics and trying to make actors scared or something like that, which has never been
No,
my brand, man. Like I
no,
all I do is
that's not you
uplift
at
and
all.
encourage. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I protect my brand because you're gonna know who I am and you're gonna know like,
But here's the thing. I mean, like,
yeah,
this is why I was disappointed. I'll tell you why.
yeah,
You let the haters win, right? By
yeah,
by taking down. They're celebrating their victory, right?
yeah,
And you are still it wasn't misinformation what you put out there. That's the opinion that you've heard from seven different casting directors.
yeah,
So that's not misinformation. And then you go on to read there, then it becomes more educational. You see other casting directors, oh, I disagree with that. It becomes a conversation, right? It becomes informative. So you're
sure,
still helping actors. Yeah, there's always going to be trolls out there. You could post like you could post something like, "Aren't these puppies adorable?" And you're like, "Oh, I'm a cat person." So
yeah,
you can't win everyone. You can't please everyone.
no,
And I understand why you did it. I'm not hating you taking it down.
no, I'm cool with
Totally get
this. Yeah, I'm
why
cool with
you
this.
did it. But like at the same time, like we talked about off the air. Like you're right. I mean, we live in a world where it's like you see actors attack casting directors. Like, what the hell are they doing?
Yeah,
There's no making these miserable people happy, and the only way they
right,
get off on it is by becoming controversial or confrontational on
right.
social media.
I agree that you can't let the haters win, but at the same time, I'm not gonna allow them to have platform and allow this thing to grow legs and keep going just because the ratio now is in the negative connotation space. You know what I mean? And I'm not gonna sit there and put out every single fire and every loser that's coming on there, right? But like, yeah, I don't want to create discord between actors and casting. And that seemed to be a
Mm.
major ingredient of the chaos, right? Because as I said earlier, I personally am sick of the snarkiness of actors right now towards casting directors. It
It's
almost
insane.
seems to be this level of disrespect and intolerance and oh like yeah I get it man like if you get a commercial script breakdown they are asking us to do everything they are asking us to film the commercial in its
But
entirety
it's
with titles
not
and
the
graphics
casting director, it's the client. It's
right
the client. The casting director, for especially for
no
commercials, answer to the client of
right
let's say like Nike or whatever the product is,
right
or the company is. Like they're getting wrong. They're getting angry at the wrong people.
They, I just think actors going to war with casting directors is the wrong move. You know what
100%.
I mean? Or like just being too glib or just being insensitive. Like I have always felt that yeah, there are some casting directors who have been hard to work with. Sure, but who in any industry, you're gonna
In
have
any
people who are hard
industry,
to work,
right?
right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Casting only makes their money off of hiring us. And it is their job to promote us. They don't get to keep their job if they don't keep passing us along. And they want to find new people all the time. They want to elevate actors. And like they're very sweet people for the most part. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I can't stand
99% of them. Yeah. Yeah.
100%.
100%.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I just can't stand that snarky attitude where we're like taking jabs at casting now or making reels, you know, making fun of them and stuff like that. Like I have a very short tolerance for that. It's not my platform.
No.
If you want to get your views and your reels off about it, cool. But I also think now you are creating a discord between yourself and casting, and like
You're
now you
literally
just kind of
biting
making
the
Instagram a
hand.
thing
You're
that feeds
literally
you.
biting the hand that feeds you. Right. It's
Yeah.
just like the definition of like I just when I see something like that, I get confused. I'm like, well, what are you doing? Like, do you not realize like you're getting quite a bit of views and shares? Someone's going to see that.
Right. Putty, have you had any experience with casting yet? Have any casting directors, any auditions? Have you had any?
No, not yet. I'm not that far in the process yet.
All
Uh,
right.
I have attended some seminars with casting directors that are trying to give you tips and ideas of how to record
Yeah.
um, copy and how to do it different times, how to inflect voices. I'm still in the basic grassroots of it just yet.
Did you ever get a sense that they were attacking actors or, you know,
When I dealt with, been super nice and super supportive
Yeah,
and super helpful.
that's the
you
norm.
know? Yeah. And like, look, I understand there was a really bad process that we have to go through sometimes, and it's been addressed, as the pay to play, but
Yeah,
and like, actors hated the self-tape switch, right? Like loathed it because they're like, oh, Castor, I used to want to be in the room and now they're making us film. Like I'm not a lighter, I'm not a director, I'm not a DP. I can't be doing all this stuff. Now, I never had a problem with the self-tape switch to standard, right? Because in Atlanta, I would say when I was coming up, 50% of our auditions were self-tape. So we in Atlanta and just Georgia in general, maybe the South, we were just familiar with that, right? Because like the Southeast as a whole, it's a lot easier to just self-tape, submit in, than drive to Nashville, put yourself on and then drive all the way back and stuff like that. I don't have to get in my car. I don't have to worry about traffic. I don't have to worry about, spilling something on the ride over. So self-tape was very easy. But then you saying that like, oh, they just don't want us in the room, they don't like us, that like I can't feel what this cast and director's thinking and stuff like that, and it just becomes this vacuum of just negativity, man. And
it
like
is. It's never
there's
going
so much
back.
more opportunity that we have in sending our best take, being in our most comfortable setting, getting to have control over everything that we need to truly be able to create something and put it on tape and lasting. And I can do more auditions now than I could have when I was trying to get from like, this one in Chelsea at Jonathan Strauss casting and then have to make it all the way over to, you know,
The
Ripley and
stress. Oh my
oh
God.
my gosh,
Again,
man.
knots my stomach just thinking about that
I
again.
remember like
Yeah.
going over there and like I had to walk like 10 blocks in the snow and my face was blistered by the time I get over the audition and you look like shit and you're just like,
Yes.
I guess I'll make you believe I'm an actor now in this like
Or
summer
that,
beach setting.
did you ever get like psyched out sometimes? I remember one particular audition I went to at Fox, and I'm doing the sign-in sheet. I'm in a waiting room, and I'm looking around, and I'm seeing actors I've recognized on TV. At this point, this is probably going like my third or fourth like professional audition, right?
Right.
And like I was like kind of getting psyched out. I was like, oh my God, like I'm in the room with these people. Like I'm
Right.
I'm getting fucking nervous.
Right. Right.
Um, have you ever had that moment? Like something
I've
like that?
never really seen stars, but
It wasn't necessarily
I'm
stars, but
kind
like
of
people you recognize in
yeah.
TV.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
People you recognize. I don't personally miss going into a room of people who look just like me and then hearing their takes, as they're in the room
Right,
and
right.
like
Oh my God, there's always that one person I'd be so glib. So
I
glib.
there's things, I mean, yeah, I love going in the room and I love having that interaction with casting directors, but you know, the pay to play thing was like how we would I never saw it as that. I never saw it as like I'm paying to get in front of you. It was like, yes, I'm paying for this seminar. I'm going to learn about how you view things and do things. And then I'm going to put myself in an audition in front of you. That's going to be an introduction. And then it's up to me to kind of continue that and try and get work, right? But that gets me in the door. That gets me one-on-one time with you. That gives me an ability. It's no different to me than if you go to a networking event and you spend X amount of dollars on drinks, you know what I mean? Just trying
Yeah,
to
I mean it's
levy
true.
up, right? Like, and I've
It's like
always said
whatever you
this,
feel most comfortable with.
right? I've always said acting is a business. An actor is a business, right? Yes, this industry is goofy, and yes, like the most talented person doesn't get the job always because it's not like a meritocracy, right? But we are a business to ourselves. And so it is up to us to be able to continue to pay for the infrastructure. And so like, yeah, we have to pay to put our headshots up. We have to pay to get headshots. We have to pay to upload them to Actors Access at like $22 a minute or whatever it is. And we have to pay for all sorts of stuff, equipment, right? Like, but it's an investment, right? And so I've always viewed it as this is not something I just have to come out of pocket for. This is an investment, and I am a business, and I have to grow with that business and the
And
industry itself.
and now on top of that, now we're investing ourselves. I think more actors are becoming creators in the sense,
Yeah,
to create their own short film, to create their own feature film or TV series.
yeah,
That takes money, and
yeah. I mean,
figuring out
like
the
if you
investment
have a short
stratosphere.
film, you're gonna be submitting to film festivals, right? You're not like shouting at the world like, "Oh, I can't believe I have to pay to submit to another film festival." It's like, yeah, you're
Oh no,
paying for the
they'll come.
opportunity.
They'll
Yeah.
come.
But you have to pay for the for that film festival experience, right? Like even if you get seen or if you get accepted or not, right? Like that was a
There's a whole
calculated
other
risk,
expense. Yeah,
right? But like you knew going into it that I mean just paying to do the short film itself was an expense. But those are the
exactly.
risks and things you take on to elevate yourself,
100%.
you know?
100%. And like, I posted something recently myself where I was talking about like, nowadays, you can't just sit around and wait for an audition anymore.
Right.
Employing people to create your own work. I'm working myself, creating two different films right now. Um, and someone
And you
commented
got a
back,
podcast, man.
and I got a podcast. Thank you.
Right.
Um, and someone commented back, it's like, well, that's doesn't creating something doesn't you have to you have to oh, what is it? Now I gotta go into this part will be cut.
Gotta look
Uh,
it up.
gotta look
This
it up.
guy.
This guy, because I want to get it right. Um,
Oh, me unprepared.
yeah, I know, right? Oh my God. So this person was saying you do need permission. That there's only so much you can do on your own. Making your own work is great. It just doesn't open doors. And now, I don't know. It just I don't like the idea, especially nowadays. Like, like I don't know about you, but I'm not getting the same amount of auditions I used to get,
Hmm.
and it drives me crazy in a sense. But at the same time, it's like, well, most people I talk to are not getting the same auditions they used to,
Yeah.
and what am I going to do? Cry about it?
Hmm.
No. Like I understand the state of the industry right now. It's not just me. I'm seeing what's happening, what's filming and where. And like I think, to keep yourself sane, like you have to create. It happened for you even. Like you were talking about the first time around, you created something and changed your lane.
Oh yeah. My first short film went to Cannes, you know what I mean? And like how it got there was not the direct approach. Like it was through this group that was charging people to pay to go to Cannes with like a group of other films that they had pre-approved or whatever, and they paid for like their own block or whatever. I didn't really know that was how we got in. But when I tell everybody my film went to Cannes, I'm not saying, oh, well, it only went with this one group. It wasn't like officially accepted. It wasn't in competition for best short or anything like that. Like it got in and it went, man. You know what I mean? And like I've always been a glass half empty kind of guy. Like I believe that perception is everything, and I believe firmly whatever you tell yourself is whatever you're going to believe. And so again, like with a lot of people who shortchange themselves or say, this is not going to get me any opportunities, then you're right. It will not get you any opportunities because
Yeah.
you have already not seen any opportunities in it. But if you do see opportunities, then you're going to go look for them and you're going to find them. Like, and when I went to Cannes, I was like, all right, I'm gonna shake 5 hands a day. Like I hate networking, you know what I mean? And I'm a very outgoing kind of guy.
Yeah.
But I hate networking. I hate being in a room full of people that I don't really know. But I said if I can shake 5 hands a day, I guarantee one of those will turn into something. You know what I mean? Maybe not, but one of those will turn into something. And it was one of the best things in my life, and it was the best lesson I ever learned because I do that with everything I did from here on out. And like, I met our friend Jamal Hodge through a film festival where he and I were talking because we knew somebody that I met from a film festival. You know what I mean? And like doors open other doors. But if you
Absolutely.
shut them to yourself, you're never going to go anywhere. You've
Exactly.
locked yourself in.
And that was my point. It may not open the door for you to be like the next Vin Diesel, like that story,
Right.
right? But putting yourself out there, hell, putting yourself out there, making something
Right.
begets you more work. Like you form a bond with other people, and people get to know
Right.
you. And that can lead to something. But then going to the festivals, showcasing your stuff, making those connections. I always say, like, networking, I get it, man. Like, I'm a social person myself, but it can kind of feel icky. I've changed my process over the years. It's just like, you know what? You like to go out, meet people, have a good time. Worst case scenario, that's what you're doing. You're just going to have a good time,
Right.
make a new friend, maybe.
Right.
Worst case scenario, right?
Right.
And if that's a worst case scenario, that's still a win. And guess what? That friendship you make down the line could win something. It's the long game. Um, and I'm not necessarily saying like, I'm making friends with someone just to like work with you. No, like I have been so blessed to meet some really cool people in this industry that I could call a dear friend. I consider you one of them. And just someone you can just talk to. Like it doesn't
Yep.
even have to be about the industry. Just like, we shoot the shit about sports, we shoot
Yep.
shit about, life in general. And
And
it's
we met
cool.
on Threads, right?
We
Like
met on
you
Threads,
and
which
I
is
were
wild.
just we were just talking, like I saw you post on some things. I saw that you were an actor and that you had like ties to pro wrestling was the all I knew about it at the time, right? And I sent you a message and I was like, dude, I don't have anything I'm working on, but I just feel like you and I should get to know each other because I feel like we're in some of the same stuff. I would love to ask you some questions as well because I was still getting into pro wrestling at the time, and that was 100% how it formed.
You downplay yourself though, man. Like you're not doing anything. You're doing Mayor of Kingstown for God's sake, which is in its final
Yeah,
season, by the way.
final season, man. Those bastards.
My man. Well, let's talk a little bit about that. I think that's a good
Yeah,
segue.
yeah.
How are you feeling, man? I mean, you've been out there from season one, right?
No, I've been there for season three, so I was three
Season
seasons,
three,
three, four, and five. Yeah,
3, 4, and 5. That's still a good
yeah,
stretch. Still a good
yeah.
stretch.
It was a blessing, man. I filmed my last little bits. There's rumors there could be a six and seven if they find a new home, which I hope they do, but I think everybody's pretty much, everybody has come to the fact that this is the last season, and it is the first time that I've had to say goodbye to a character. You know what I mean? Where it's just
Right.
like, damn, like I've gotten to know Norseman for three seasons now, and now um I don't know, it feels like a death of sorts where you're just mourning the loss of something because I know it's just like a 2% chance that you'll ever see Norseman again in that Sheridan universe. But
So how do you say
also,
goodbye? How do you say goodbye to that?
uh, I think you just got to be grateful that you had the
Yeah.
ride in the first place, like that was something that was so specific for me as an actor, which is when they say like, what's meant for you is meant for you. I just truly believe there was no one else on earth that could have played Norseman,
Mm.
and what I can say is, um, I'm trying not to say too much, but
Right, no, of course. So,
yeah, no spoilers. But
yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
what I can say is I got to talk with the showrunner Dave Erickson, and very awesome guy, sweet guy, lovely. Writes a beautiful slaughterhouse masterpiece of a show, right? Um, but he was just telling me, he's like, there were things that you brought to Norseman that we couldn't even have thought of in the writer's room, which is a
Wow.
great compliment for
That's
you
like
as an
the
actor, right?
best compliment. My God.
And there's also like, I mean, during season four, man, it was the trippiest thing, but there was like a Facebook group that had my picture posted from like a post I did on Instagram as myself. You know what I mean? But like not even
That's
as Northman.
crazy.
But they had my headshot and they were like, "Hey, how do we feel about this guy? Like I know he's a white nationalist. I know he's evil, but he's kind of nice. Like he's kind of sincere. There's a sweetness about him, you know, and like and just watching
But
people
that's you shining
rationalize.
through. That's you
Right,
shining through right
right,
there.
right. And it was really interesting to also have a character where you don't know what's coming. And I think, coming up as actors, we always have like plays to go off of. You can read that play from beginning to end and you know your character's journey, right? You know this is where your character starts, and this is how it ends for that character, and so I'm going to fill in and build that bridge, from beginning to end. With Norseman, I only knew the episode I was going in for. I didn't know what was to come. I didn't know how many seasons I was going to be on. And that was really frightening to just be like, how do I know what to do? And how do I like set these things up or play to this if I don't know? And it was also really freeing because you're just like, you know what? That's also real life, isn't it? Like, you never truly know what's going to happen tomorrow, a year from now, 10 years from now. All you can do is live in the moment, and all you can do is read that script and then just be true to the circumstances around it. And for me, I just always wanted to find something that was very human about Norsemen. And Mark, I guess you can call him Mark now because they finally gave me a name at the end of season 4. But yeah, and just being able to learn from so many great actors, man. Like, oh man. Obviously Michael Beach, Richard Brake, who is still a dear friend to mine. Like, I'll never forget the scenes that I got to have with him. Like, he's the freaking Night King, man. He's like Doomshead. Like, he's such a legend to the industry and of himself. Um,
What was the biggest thing you've learned from these actors?
Everybody has a different approach,
Yeah.
and you just gotta be ready. I mean, you can either rise to their occasion and, meet them on their level, or you can, well, I think you hold your own, but you also learn how people. So, like, for instance, Richard loves to rehearse dialogue, right? Like, and you'll just get in the van on the way to set, and all of a sudden he just starts the scene. You're like, oh, okay, I guess
Oh,
we're
we're doing
going.
this
So,
now.
like,
Okay.
like, so
Good morning, everyone.
right, right. With Richard, you got to be off book and you got to know your stuff, right? And like, and I always did because you're never gonna catch me with my pants down. Like, I'm always like, when I'm on set, my lines are learned. I know what I'm saying. I know where I'm going, and then in the van on the way over or in the cast chairs off to the side is where I'm just getting to find some little nuances with it because now I'm getting to see how he's going to approach it and stuff like that. um with Michael Beach, I think he really kind of gave me some of my power back that I had lost as an actor because I have been pursuing this thing for 20, 30 years, man. And after a certain amount of time when you're just not hearing back from auditions or you're not getting auditions at all or things are kind of quiet, then you just kind of learn to just be gracious to accept, things and then, okay, I'm just going to stand here because the director told me to stand here and I'm going to do this. But like when Michael wanted to go over his death scene, he was just very big on like, you know, let's do this, but I want you to make the decision and like, he gave me so many tools to play with that I don't even know if he knew he was doing it, but he gave me confidence, gave me my confidence back, which I've carried every day since then. Like, I
That's
can't thank
huge.
him enough for that because it was like a second wind and he just kind of shook me out of it and not in a rude way either. You know what I mean? It was very big brother to me and he doesn't know he did it, but then just watching him in other scenes and watching the humanity he brought to that character of Kareem and then getting to work with, Derek Webster who plays Stevie, right? And like we got to have the redemption scene where I killed Kareem and now Stevie comes in and sees me in the yard and wants his payback for me killing, this guy. And Derek had a hell of a beat down on me in that scene. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, he just whooped the floor with me. But that was when my wrestling got to come through because now I get to work in my physical body and like we're talking about, selling and stuff like that. We're watching the takes and he's like, man, like you make me look good. Like, when he throws a jab at me, like I really like
Look at
pop and
you,
like,
Dolph Ziggler. Look at
yeah,
you.
I'll sell, baby. I will sell, like Shawn Michaels versus Hulk, man. I will oversell and make you look good. Um, but that's a gift too, because I think that's the blessing that I have from a wrestler's perspective is, yeah, man, this is collaborative. And like, I got to put Stevie over in that scene. You know what I mean? By making him look so completely dominant. Like, yeah, the stunt was written the way it was, and like the cards were on the table. I knew where it was, but like the more powerful I made him look, you could see in real time how it just elevated his character, and everybody in the comments was just like, "Oh wow, we never knew like this guy has hands and he could really throw. He's such a quiet character." And like you just get to say, "Wow, I had a hand in changing fans' view of a character in a story." And like again, that was something only
That's
I could
wrestling
have brought to
101
it.
right there, right?
Yeah. And I
Yeah.
love I love to sell, man. I really do. Like I love to put a hurting on people. I love the fight scenes that they give me in Kingstown, but I love even more like working with stunt guys, tell them this is how I'm going to protect you, this is how I'm going to make it look real, and then when it's return fire, man, I'm just going to make it look like you are beating the dog crap out of me. And
Okay,
that's the beauty of it.
looking at time, I don't want to take so much more of your time. I feel like I could talk all day. I have so many things, so much more I want to talk to you about. Before I wrap up here, Putty, like let's give you one last shot. Let's have a better last question, yeah?
Last question. I have several here to ask.
Yeah, several. Come on. Don't worry about Mark and my time. This is Putty's corner.
So yeah,
Hey,
I'm being gracious, but go on, Putty, have at it.
let's try to answer as quickly as possible, I guess. Um,
Okay, rapid fire round.
Rapid fire questions. Let's go.
growing up, the understood fact was you started out on TV with the goal to make it to the movies.
Yeah.
Movie star going to TV was looked down upon, like a demotion.
Yeah. Yeah.
Last couple of decades, it seems like it's kind of flattened out,
Oh
like
yeah.
equal playing field. Now I've noticed a lot of broad TV and movie stars are going to Broadway.
Yeah.
Maybe it has something to do with Mark's mentioning about getting fewer auditions. But as an actor, what is the appeal of Broadway?
Ooh.
Broadway, it's the best theater, I don't want to say in the world, but it is certainly like the highest stakes and the highest reviewed and the highest paid. That's the biggest thing. But there are certain cities around the world where theater is celebrated, and it's, New York, London, Chicago, and DC, which not a lot of people know about DC. DC has phenomenal theater and a rabid fan base. You know what I mean? Where they go support.
Minnesota too's got has a big one too.
Yeah. So for the actor, I think you get to check something off the list because if you are going to do theater, you're going to be paid pretty well for it. Um, and then it's the highest end of it's like the Super Bowl of theater, right? And there are some actors who like J.K. Simmons, right? Who we all know and love and like is a well-known actor. He does like summer stock in like Idaho or something like that. Or like he does very, very low paying theater for the love of it. Denzel going to Broadway, it's because he's going back to his roots as a performer. Um, I don't think it's money motivated. I just think it's the
No,
safest paycheck you can do for theater. But then it's in New York, so you have an excuse to be in New York. You have your lights in the marquee. You have a standing ovation, which a lot of actors will go crazy for. It's the lifeblood, that feeds an actor's ego is that standing applause every night.
exactly.
Only if you do well. Only
It's
if you do
the
well.
I feel like I started off doing stage acting, and it made me fall in love with acting, period. And I think a lot of actors can attest to that. But the money, especially for those that's a movie star or a huge TV star, the money
Yeah,
isn't there as it would be for on camera.
right,
Um, so they say you work your way up to that point where it's kind of like, oh, I don't have to worry about the money, so now I get to do something for me.
right.
That's how I kind of see it when you see a big celebrity going back on stage or Broadway. Oh, it's a little treat for me.
Yeah. And like really, Putty, the answer to your question is like They go to Broadway because these theaters begged them to come to Broadway because they know that having that big name is going to sell seats for that show,
That's
right? So
awesome.
like
Their
again,
business
it's an
decision.
ego
Yep.
boost of like, oh, I'm doing this not because I want to, but because they need me, because they need me to fill those seats. And that's really, I mean, that's it. The money at the end of the day is why. But I can tell you, man, live theater, live performance is an adrenaline rush, and if you get a chance to do it, you take it. That's my opinion. Because theater is so pure and it helps you refine your craft, and it's a very different vehicle than acting for camera.
Buddy, you have another one?
I've also been very interested in, somewhat interested in writing.
Yeah,
There's a lot of ideas I have floating around in my head. They come and go.
yeah,
Writer, how do you know you have an idea strong enough to put pen to paper? And how do you flush out a little idea to a script?
sure. The best ideas to me are the ones that won't leave me alone. Like,
Yeah.
I think they just speak to you, right? And like, who was it? I think Prince and Michael Jackson both had like this spiritual thing about creativity where they're like, I am not a creative person. I am a vessel that receives creativity from a higher power, and it's my job to like put it out because as soon as I don't, somebody it's going to be given to somebody else. You know what I mean? And so I feel like I have had so many ideas of things that I wanted to write and just never did, and then I saw them come out later on, and you're like, you know, that could have been me, but it wasn't because I just didn't do it. And now, and like it took me a long time because look, I did my first two shorts. They helped give me a huge break. And then before I wrote this series, I wrote a web series back in 2020 during COVID. And I wrote all 8 episodes, but it was a web series. So they were all like 10 pages, you know what I mean? Like 10-minute episodes. And I just couldn't get it off the ground, man. And I just like felt like I had this great series, man, like this great little web series thing, and I felt like I could do it for really cheap, and I had stars that were going to agree to come do it, but I just couldn't get the money, and I just beat myself up for it, and I stopped writing for several years because I was just so bummed about how I never got that one off the ground. But then this series that I wrote currently, um, it just I met with Jamal Hodge, and he helped me become a better writer because it was pitched as like, hey, I want to like I think you have what it takes to make something, for yourself. I have a mentor who taught me screenwriting, but like I don't really think I'm the best writer in the world. So to get better, you either write and fail or you write and read books like Save the Cat was one of my favorite ones that just give you very simplified outline structure. Like this is what you do. You can watch YouTube videos or you can follow like Instagram pages like Final Drafts or just listen to clips of like famous screenwriters. And everybody has good input. My favorite quote as a writer is from uh, Taika Waititi, who's just said, sometimes a full day of writing is just staring at your laptop for 8 hours and then closing it. You know what I mean? But like, I know that if you just start writing, and then you go back, you read it, and then you write some more. And great writing, my mentor is always big on this. Great writing is rewriting. So even when you're done, like the first objective you have is to finish the scene and then get to the end of whatever it's going to be. If it's going to be a movie, if it's going to be an episode or whatever. The job you first have is to get beginning, middle, and end. Then you go back and you start tinkering with everything to make it stronger and more cohesive, right? And that is all writing is. Great writing is rewriting. So, yeah, I think you listen to the ideas that just won't leave you alone. You add what's personally you to the story because the more personal you can make it to you, the more universal the appeal is. And then you start writing until you finish. And then once you're finished, you go back and write it again. You go back and just keep writing and seeing, okay, well, how does this make sense? And become your own biggest critic by, looking for your own plot holes and like, wait, how does that happen? Or getting somebody else to read it and then they come back and say, hey, this didn't kind of make sense to me. And you're like, all right, well, this is what I was trying to do, but maybe it'll make more sense if I present it this way or, you know. And then the last thing to me is start cutting shit out. Like, just take
Yeah.
stuff out, man, because we over explain so many times that you start taking stuff out and see if it still holds up, and you'll be surprised, but your audience will thank you because you're not treating them like they're, a 2-year-old who needs to be spoon-fed the story and like all the information. They will connect the dots.
And then if you're producing the thing, if you're shooting it yourself, your budget will thank you too.
Yeah. Also be conscious of your budget when you're writing, because like you got a huge set piece with a pirate ship and and something from outer space, and then Superman
Right.
comes in, and now you got to
Right.
get licensing for them, and you got to pay for props, and
Let's
yeah,
go.
be budget conscious.
My man, I'm giving you a virtual hug right now. Freaking love you, man. Thank you for coming on here. We
Yeah.
don't have the last date yet for Mayor of Kingstown, but definitely looking forward to that. And looking forward to see what you do next, man. I know you got the TV series that you're working on and the feature film, so best of
Yeah,
luck
man.
there with that.
Thank you. Thank you. You haven't seen the last of me.
Fuck no, man. Fuck no.
Yeah.
Look at that guy. Look at this guy, huh? Putty.
This guy.
This guy. Putty. Thank you for
Thanks
coming.
for not forgetting about me. Thank you
Yeah.
for loyalty that you're showing to me, unlike the host of the show. Appreciate it. Thanks. Have a fun
No
night. Thank
problem.
you.
Thanks for making it out at my request, buddy.
What a fucking guy, huh?
Yep.
Putty, welcome back to the show, man. I get that was it was awesome. Yes, you had some really nice questions there at the end.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you for giving me a chance to speak. Really appreciated that.
Look, you gotta insert yourself, buddy. You gotta be more assertive.
Try to talk over you. I tried it a couple times. You play it back, and you just talked over me.
I didn't hear it, and I'm sorry. Like you just gotta bully your way in, man. You just gotta bully your way in. That's the thing there. But buddy, that's all I have for today. Where can they find you, buddy? You have a podcast of your own. Let's plug that.
Yeah, because you killed a shot of wrestling. So I'm not gonna sit around waiting for you to come back like you said you were going to, because then you just left me to do this one, which I was fired from. So why would I wait for you to come back? So I did my own Putty's podcast. Anywhere podcasts are available, slide into those DMs at Michael J. Putty, and let's make a movie together with somebody. Yeah,
All right. Well, I mean, thank you for painting me as such a bad guy on my podcast.
easy to believe.
Um,
Very easy.
Ladies and gentlemen, Beyond the Take Pod, you can follow us on all forms of social media. Give us a like, share, and just let us know. I mean, how we're doing here, and what do you want to hear from us? And yeah, actors, honestly. I think now is the time. Now is the time to create your own work. Get yourself out there, get yourself seen. The industry, it's not going to come snap back to what it once was back in 2016. It's just not. I don't know where it's heading. It could be to a better form. I mean, we're seeing, great filmmakers come out from creators on YouTube with Obsession and Backrooms. I find that personally inspiring. Some people are, I think, kind of feeling a little ick about it, but that's on them. That's a choice. That's a choice on how you feel. I view that as a fuck you to the system, and I mean that in the best way possible. The power's in our hands, so own it. Much love, everyone. Cheers. Much love to you, Putty. Thank you for coming on.